The Tampa Bay Lightning are in the middle of a four-game losing streak, and things don't get much easier with home tilts against two of the league's best, the Jets and the New Jersey Devils, coming up this week. Is this the toughest stretch of the Lightning schedules this season?
You're Locked On Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Josh Sperber here on Locked On Lightning, thanking all of you for making Locked On Lightning your first listen every day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And if your team is the Tampa Bay Lightning, then this is the show for you. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And we are going to get started kicking off the weekend, in a way, with a Thursday battle between the Lightning and the Winnipeg Jets. It's the second time that these two teams have faced off this season. About a week and a half ago, the Lightning were in Canada, and they took a 7-4 loss against the Winnipeg Jets, despite a late equalizer by Nikita Kucherov in a back-and-forth third that started off in a 3-3 tie and ended up in a 7-4 Jets win. The Lightning were outshot in that contest, lost the majority of faceoffs, had a worse power play percentage, fewer hits. I mean, it was a game that was, for the most part, dominated by the Jets. Nikita Kucherov, though, finished with a goal and an assist, and Victor Hedman had an assist as well for the Lightning, with Braden Point, Brandon Hagel, and Mitchell Chaffee also adding in goals for the Bulls. And the Lightning are looking to snap their four-game losing streak, as I mentioned, and they still don't know if they will be with or without Braden Point. Point was practicing with the team earlier this week, did not skate on Wednesday, and today's morning skate will, I guess, be the final determination if he can go or not. Just in case he can't go, the Lightning have recalled Gage Gonzalez a matter of days after he was sent back down to the Syracuse Crunch, where he has 6 assists in 5 games, already tied for second on the Crunch in points. Still looking for an AHL goal, still looking for an NHL point. It would be Gonzalez's 5th NHL game and second in a row for the Lightning, as he played and recorded a missed shot in the shootout in the Lightning's most recent loss to the Philadelphia Flyers 1 week ago. And that is going to be the first big key for the Lightning in this game, whether they get Braden Point or they do another edition of line shuffling, and Gage Gonzalez is going to be inserted into that lineup. It's still too early to tell. I think Point has practiced this week. That Wednesday might have just been a precautionary day of rest. From what I'm hearing, Point is going to be expected to play, and that I think could be huge for the Lightning, because this is really the first long-term injury that the Bolts have had. They've had a couple of nagging injuries. I mean, the whole team was talking about how banged up they were after that Flyers game and how they can use the off week to get past that. Guys aren't going to be playing through as much nagging pain anymore, and that's just, I think, going to help the Lightning. But they still need to have Braden Point out there to increase their chances of winning. He does already have a goal against the Jets this season. He has 5 power play goals, which is more than the rest of the Lightning's team combined. So he would be crucial to get out there for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Andrei Vasilevsky is going to need another big game. That is also going to mean he's going to need some help from his defense. This is the Jets who have been, by just about every metric this season, the best team in the NHL. They've won 14 of their first 15 games, an NHL record. They have scored more goals than anyone in the league As of right now, they are one of just 3 teams in the entire league with over 60 goals scored. One of them, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Lightning beat already at Amalie Arena. In second, 62, the New Jersey Devils, who come into town on Saturday. And then at number 1, 5 goals clear, are the Winnipeg Jets, who have also only allowed 31 goals this season, which is the lowest in the NHL. And all but 4 of his last 14 games, Connor Hellebuck has recorded a shutout. It has just been a dominant display of hockey from the Jets so far this season, and the Lightning are frankly going to have to be near perfect to get it. Their offense is going to have to reach the same level and maybe even kick it up a notch that they did a week and a half ago in Winnipeg, but their defense is going to have to follow suit as well. The Lightning are going to need to be more physical, and just kind of pick their spots on defense to try and make some plays. If the Jets make miscues, the Lightning need to take advantage of it, and they need to limit their penalty minutes. They need to make sure their passes are a lot crisper, their line changes are a lot smoother, incorporate some of the stuff that they've worked on over this past week in practice. The Lightning have just spent most of this last week working on some of the little things and also trying to improve their puck movement and passing and things like that. And it just needs to be shown. The Lightning need to come back well-rested, energized, healthy, and just firing on all cylinders, frankly, if they're going to want to beat this Winnipeg Jets team. The Lightning are 0-1 against repeat opponents so far this season, with a pair of 2-goal losses to the Minnesota Wild, both sealed by an empty netter, and the Lightning have another repeat opponent in the New Jersey Devils coming up on Saturday. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's episode, but the Lightning do have a victory against New Jersey already under their belt, winning 8-5 back in October. And again, if Braden Point is out, the Lightning are going to need some other guys to step up. I think it might mean moving Brandon Hagel to that first line. I kind of like the idea of Hagel replacing Point on that first line and, sliding maybe Gensel over to center, or possibly, again, putting Nick Paul on the first line, or Anthony Cirelli and Hagel with Gensel down on the second line. I mean, there still can be some reshuffling to be done, and I think the Lightning are going to have a different outlook when it comes to lines entering this game. I think it's certainly at a point where John Cooper's going to want to just go do some tinkering and move some guys around. I think at a 4-game losing streak, it's about that time. You've got a layoff where you can really have some extra time to play around with some strategies and see which guys work where. But I think we'll see a more conventional line pairing. And again, a lot of this is going to be moot if Braden Point does end up playing. But regardless, I think the Lightning really just need to take pride in some of the things they've done during the week off. I think part of the reason that the Lightning had such a strong start to the season is that they were fueled by the effort that their team and they themselves individually were doing to help Tampa through the stress, the pain of 2 hurricanes hitting within a couple of weeks of each other. And the Lightning just finished Coop's Catch, a fishing event to raise money for pediatric cancer, and it raised 6+ digits. I mean, it was another remarkable event, 7th year in a row that John Cooper has run this. And it was something the players were very excited for on Sunday's practice. It was something that they seemed to enjoy on Monday. But now it's time to translate that to the ice. It's time for the Lightning to show more love for their community by taking those good times, taking these good causes, and playing it out on the ice, playing for some of those kids that they fish with, who I'm sure were giving them suggestions for goal celebrations and all sorts of fun stuff. So I think that the Lightning have been able to just take advantage of the community support, whether it's the support that they initiate or just the support that they feel from this great fan base. They have to take that to heart, and they have to leave it all out on the ice tonight, because the Jets are maybe the toughest team that any NHL team will face this season, let alone the Lightning. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are in a bit of a tough spot in their schedule. It's part of the reason that they're on a 4-game losing streak, and it doesn't get too much easier, especially at home in the month of November. Does that make this the toughest schedule stretch of the Lightning season? We'll break down spots in the Lightning schedule after this. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And they don't just do NFL. Right now, customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NHL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. SelectQuote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. Other life insurance brokers offer impersonal, one-size-fits-all policies that may cost you more and cover you less, while SelectQuote's licensed insurance agents work for you to tailor a life insurance policy for your individual needs in as little as 15 minutes. You invest so much time to take care of yourself and be the healthiest, best version of you. SelectQuote's exclusive policies can reward that effort. If you're in good health, they work with carriers that can get you same-day coverage for up to $5 million with no medical exam required. All these policies are more affordable than you think. You could get coverage for up to $1 million for as little as $20 per month. Head to SelectQuote.com, and a licensed insurance agent will call you right away with the right policy for your life and your budget. Get the right life insurance for you for less at SelectQuote.com/LockedOnNHL. Go to SelectQuote.com/LockedOnNHL today to get started. That's SelectQuote.com/LockedOnNHL. SelectQuote. They shop, you save. We are back here on Locked On Lightning. Josh Sperber is still with you. And we are going to move on to a difficult stretch of the Tampa Bay Lightning season. And we can commiserate over some of these losses past that, the Lightning were certainly in pretty much every game in over this losing streak. And that's something that the players have mentioned. It's not just the streak, it's the season. It's hard to pinpoint a game so far that the Lightning have not been able to win, but they're in the midst of what has been one of their toughest stretches of the schedule this season. Now, it might not be the exact toughest. In October, the Lightning had a week where they came out 2-2 against the Maple Leaf Devils, Wild, and Capitals. Had played some solid teams to start the season, but this week, 2 home games against the Jets and the Devils make things tougher in the middle, of the Lightning's 4-game win streak. Then they get 2 teams towards the bottom of the standings on the road in Pittsburgh and Columbus, and then back home for Dallas, Colorado, and Washington before ending the month on the road against Nashville, who are closer to the bottom of the league, and then Toronto at home. Now, of course, there are still plenty of star power on Nashville and Pittsburgh. Stamkos already has shown out against his former team. Certainly a chance for him to do it again. And there's enough great players on defense with the Predators. And, of course, the talented but aging duo of Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin in Pittsburgh. So even those games against teams that are close to the bottom of the NHL right now are still kind of difficult. So is this the toughest stretch of schedule that the Lightning will face this season? I honestly think yes. And I don't just think that because it is just with 2 great teams at home in a row. I think the real reason with that is just where Lightning are at this point in the season. Obviously, it's going to be a bit different maybe next month when they've got a week with back-to-back games against Florida, a little home and home. Then they've got 4 more days off before they're back home against the New York Rangers on the 28th of December. After that, there's it seems like it's a pretty balanced spacing of teams for the most part for the Lightning. A couple of games where they've got the Oilers and then Calgary, but there's just not as densely packed of a schedule with elite teams the rest of the way on in Tampa Bay's schedule. It's just the start of the season has just been some of the toughest tests for Tampa Bay. And for the rest of the month, it's just going to keep getting tougher, particularly at home. I think they already experienced kind of a trap game with Philadelphia at home after St. Louis, who's kind of middling, Minnesota and Winnipeg, who are at the top of their division. And then now they come back with Winnipeg and New Jersey. So I think just at this point, with the amount of talent that is coming to Amalie Arena in the month of November, with Dallas, then Colorado, Washington, and Toronto coming after this week of two of the top teams in the league so far this season, I really think this is the biggest test on the Lightning schedule. I think that it's something that could, in a way, define the rest of Tampa's season. If they really come limping out of the month of November, out of the first full month of the season, after they started off so strong in October, and we're really looking kind of like a stammer who this is still the Lightning team, things have changed a lot with the Lightning still looking for their first win against November. And they're hoping to get one at home against two of the top teams in each conference. New Jersey is a point behind Florida for the best record in the East, fourth overall in the league. And Winnipeg is 5 points clear of the rest of the league, with Minnesota and Florida tied at second at 23 points. And the Winnipeg Jets 14-1, no losses in overtime, undefeated on the road. It's just been that dominant for Winnipeg. That's something the Lightning players have acknowledged. They know the task that they have out in front of them. And at this point in the season, it's certainly their toughest test. Whether it remains that way kind of remains to be seen, just depending on how many more games the Lightning's are in and how many more games that they win when it comes to tough stretches like that Panthers home and the Rangers in the span of a week and other, smaller stretches like that. But I just think the first 2 months of the season really for the Lightning have just been packed with a lot of teams that you'd expect to be in the postseason when it's all said and done. And a couple of teams that are looking like Stanley Cup challengers right now. So it's just a really pivotal moment in the Lightning season, because if things really start to unravel after November, the rest of the Lightning season could kind of just snowball from there and fall apart. And that's certainly not something that anyone in that locker room is looking to make happen. It's absolutely something that I think they can't avoid, because offensively, especially, they can compete with anybody. I think their defense just needs to improve a little bit, and they just, as a team, need to dig deep and get at least one win in the next two games. Because right now, it's, you'd always like to see a team snap a losing streak at home. But doing it against one of the top teams in the league is always something that the team is going to remember at the end of it. And Cam Atkinson said after Sunday's practice that tonight's game is just a good opportunity for the Lightning to start a new streak and end theirs. And that is exactly what the Lightning need to do. And I certainly hope that it is something that they can do. But it's going to be a tall order against the Winnipeg Jets, who are currently the hottest team in the NHL. And the Lightning have a couple of hot players that are scorching towards some key milestones in their career. We'll take a look at how soon some of these Lightning players can reach these milestone moments in their respective NHL careers. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. You guys heard Florida, though. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action, so join over 10 million PrizePicks users and sign up today. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. PrizePicks puts their members first so that all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. So you can sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where every Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So download the PrizePicks app today to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. And a place that I had the pleasure of visiting a little while ago was the Joint Chiropractic. They have a location in Clearwater, and they have 22 other locations, so 23 total in the Tampa Bay area. And each one is filled with a staff of friendly, helpful, and knowledgeable medical professionals that can help you with your pain. For me, it was my back that was really slowing me down, but the people at the Joint diagnosed where exactly the problem areas was, did a couple of stretches on me that really helped, and gave me a stretching program that I could do on my own to help manage my pain. And I've been on that stretching program since, and I can tell you that it has worked wonders. So if you go to Buccaneers.com, fans, contests, and promotions, you can get your visit discounted by about $60 and get your first visit for just $19 as opposed to $78. So Buccaneers.com, fans, contests, and promotions. And make sure to get your pain managed at the Joint Chiropractic in one of their 23 Tampa area locations. And we are almost back to Lightning hockey, but we are back to the final segment of today's Locked On Lightning episode. Still Josh Sperber here. Just wanted to remind everyone to please like, follow, and subscribe. We just reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we want to make it even higher. So make sure to, if you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're watching or listening, please make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. We really appreciate your guys' support. And the Lightning have had the support of many talented players over the course of this season, and a couple of them are pretty close to reaching some impressive milestones, namely Nikita Kucherov, who needs 4 points to reach 900 in his career. He had a goal in the game against Philadelphia, the only point that the Bolts scored. And I think that he is going to reach that milestone by the end of the month. There is a definite chance that he does it against the Devils. I think that is probably the soonest that he can do it, barring really an incredible game. Not that he's not capable of a 4-point game. It's not something that's easy to predict. So I think the earliest he'll be able to do it is the Devils game. And at the absolute latest, I'd be surprised if he doesn't have it done a week from now when the Lightning visit Columbus to take on the Blue Jackets. A point a game at the minimum seems appropriate, at least for Nikita Kucherov, but my bet is he does it by Tuesday the 19th, gets his 900th career point in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. And another one that might take a minute, Brandon Hagel needs 3 goals to reach 100 for his career. He has been one of the Lightning's most prolific goal scorers so far this season. Currently, Hagel is third on the Bolts in goals scored and second behind Kucherov in points scored with 7 goals and 8 assists on the season this year. And I think that it's a similar track to Nikita Kucherov. It's certainly not out of the question for Brandon Hagel to rip off a hat trick. But if we're looking at the Lightning schedule, I'm going to say that he does it against Dallas on Saturday the 23rd in the final weekend game before Thanksgiving. I think Hagel will scatter a couple of goals. He'll get one during the road games. I think he'll get one in one of the two games over the course of this 2-game homestand, and then get his third to reach 100 at home against the Dallas Stars. So it'll be nice for Lightning fans, hopefully, to see that one. And Victor Hedman needs 1 assist to pass Steven Stamkos for sole possession of second most assists in Lightning history. He is at 582 career assists. Martin St. Louis, one of the greatest players to ever lace him up for the Lightning, is the leader in assists for the Bolts with 588. So that means Hedman needs 7 to pass Marty St. Louis. I think Hedman is going to pass Stamkos by the end of this homestand, though. The last couple of games and during practice, I saw a lot more pucks coming Victor Hedman's way, and I saw Hedman get a lot more aggressive in trying to put those pucks on net. And he's such a smart passer, and the Lightning can be really good in transition. I think his assist numbers will only increase if Braden Point can come back healthy sooner rather than later. But I think he'll get an assist against Winnipeg to tie Stamkos. He might get a second if it's another high-scoring game, but he'll definitely pass Stamkos during this homestand. And the Lightning have a total of 7 more home games and 3 games on the road. So that's 10 games in the month of November. And I think by the end of the month, on the last game of the month, at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs on November 30th will be when Victor Hedman becomes the assist leader in Lightning history and get his 589th assist against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I think he's going to do it in 10 games because I think he's playing that well, and I think the Bolts are just, feeding Hedman and letting him have a bigger hand in control of that Lightning's offense. And Anthony Cirelli has had a nice hand in control of that offense. He needs a goal to reach 100 for his career, and I think he is going to get that tonight. I got Cirelli for a goal against the Winnipeg Jets. So if you're using Prize Picks or FanDuel like we talked about earlier in the app, you guys should book it. I think Cirelli's going to get his 100th. I just kind of see it coming for him. He wanted to win the biggest fish competition at Coop's Catch. Did not, so I think he'll take his anger out in the puck and put one in against the Jets. And Zemgus Girgensons needs 1 career assist to reach 100 for his career. He still does not have a single point as a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that could be a while, but I think it's coming. I don't know if it's going to come this month, but I think that before the end of 2025, Zemgus Girgensons is going to have an assist. I'm going to say he'll do it. He'll get his first Lightning assist against the Sharks on December the 5th, and that will give him 100 for his career. Last but not least, Andrei Vasilevskiy could become the fastest goaltender in NHL history to reach 300 career wins. Vasilevskiy currently at 299. He's been on 300 watch this entire losing streak. And I mean, we've seen it before in other sports. Alex Rodriguez's 500th home run chase in baseball is something that kind of reminds me. He had a big slump before he hit his 500th career home run for the New York Yankees. And steroids or not, A-Rod was a legendary power hitter in the game of baseball. Vasilevskiy needs basically to avoid an epic losing streak to not become the fastest goaltender to 300 wins of all time. He is currently 32 games ahead of Jacques Plante, the French-Canadian legend, as he would get it in as soon as his 490th career game. I don't know if he's going to get it done against the Jets. I really want to say the Lightning can knock off Winnipeg. And I don't know. I'm going to be bold and say that the Lightning are going to get a win. This is going to be when they snap their winning streak and take their season to a new stratosphere. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think the Bolts will win it 3-1 on an empty netter. And Vasilevsky is going to get his 300th career win tonight against the Winnipeg Jets. Tune in tomorrow to see if I eat my words. Hopefully I will not, because hopefully if we're all watching this show, we're rooting for the Lightning. And I know I'm a big Andrei Vasilevsky fan, so I'd love to see him do it against the top team in the NHL. I think that would just be so clutch and such a big way to turn around this Lightning season. But before that game happens, I want to thank you for making Locked On Lightning your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Become a fantasy hockey expert and get the edge over your league mates with daily tips from Steele and Flip. Find Locked On Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And wherever you do, please make sure to give us a like, a follow, a subscription. Really appreciate the support from you guys, and it does help us grow and serve you guys better. So I'm Josh Sperber. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully after a Lightning win.